Hello and welcome to the Critically Curious on a Monk, and today we are back in Mountain Blade Bannerlords. Now we are continuing our Let's Play series, and we have successfully been building our kingdom. We have gone to war with another nation. Now today's video is going to be about earning more war score. Now we want to earn as much war score against the Western Empire as possible. I want to win this war as soon as we can. Now we've already raided one of the villages. In my opinion, raiding villages is a great way to earn war score. If you can't muster an army to beat them head on, raiding as many villages as you can is definitely a great way of earning war score. Now we've just recruited an army. It's going to take a little minute for them to come at us, but there are a few little castles around this outer perimeter that we're going to try and take on. Now, whether we keep these castles or not really doesn't matter. The point is we are going to take their castle from them. We're going to win a battle or two, and that will earn us hopefully enough war score for this fight to be effectively done. It would be cool. It would be nice to have another nation ticked off. It would be nice to have another nation paying us tribute. We do of course have the problem of having two other nations that we are paying tribute to, Britannian and the Valandians. Both of those are on our hit list. Both of those are going to be nations that we're looking to take on as soon as possible. But before we can even look at taking on one or the other, I believe Valandia are clearly the bigger nation. But before we take on one or the other, we have to take on or take out the Western Empire, at least making sure that we win this war, this one little war. Earning a little bit of cash from them is going to be a good thing. I think before, going back a few episodes now, we actually owed them cash. I believe we were paying them tribute, so we're kind of taking that off. For anyone that has been keeping up with the series, I did say my plan is to build my kingdom up, make it as powerful as any other nation in the game currently, and in doing so I believe we should not be paying any tribute to the other nations. So ticking off the Western Empire is going to go a long way with that. So that's what we're planning to do. Obviously taking out this castle will give us a little bit of war score, and of course, that's what it's all about. Now, the Western Empire is a bigger, badder, better nation than us. I believe they do outman us. I believe they've got an equal amount of clans. They could have a couple extra clans, to be fair. I haven't looked for a little minute. But they're definitely a worthy opponent. We are currently fighting Sturgia as well, so we kind of do need to keep on our toes. Sturgeons are only doing a few little annoying raids, but those annoying raids are going to be affecting our cities. They're going to be affecting our prosperity. They're going to be affecting the amount of troops that we can recruit, and we have seen, you know, very recently that we've had issues recruiting enough troops, unfortunately. Unfortunately, until next update, there's not really too much we can do about that. I'm staring at the trebuchet because I did actually have someone comment on the last episode, I believe, asking how they can actually get their troops to use the trebuchets and the siege weapons. There are a number of different siege weapons that you can actually use while actually sieging a castle, that being the trebuchet, the catapult, and the ballistica. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. But your troops should, in theory, automatically be using them if you have built them that is. You have to actually build them first. You can't build them while sieging. So when you prepare your camp, you have to, set those weapons to build. If they are active at the time you lead your troops, they should be on the battlefield. If they are on the battlefield, your troops should automatically be doing their jobs. In fact, when it comes to sieging, there really isn't too much to it. I mean, I have actually also had someone else comment saying, make a full siege breakdown, and that's something I would definitely like to do. However, I tend to play with overwhelming odds, so for that video I'm going to have to do things a little bit different, because if you are the smaller person, if you are not dominating that battlefield, you do have to play a little bit differently. You're probably not going to have time to smash holes in the walls, for instance, if you're trying to take a city. I have the luxury of doing that because typically I have been the bigger army. Whenever we've been fighting, whoever we've been fighting, there hasn't been a huge army around, so I've been able to waste that extra time and make sure that I actually do take on those walls, break them, and then we fully rush into the castle. There's no real strategy to that. We're using overwhelming odds. If I was to do a siege video, we need to change things up a bit, and it not being an overwhelming thing. And the choice between going up the ladders using a siege tower or a battering ram to break down the door, I can see why that video would be needed. So it's definitely something in the bag, something that I will be talking about and making a video on, hopefully in the near future. Just taking a second just to admire these castles. I believe I said it in the last video, but I do think this game is absolutely stunning. I think the amount of time and effort that went into creating, crafting, sculpturing the unique castles in a game is quite staggering. I think it's really cool. Now, I don't know if every single castle is completely unique. There are a hell of a lot of them in this game. But it does appear that I've never looked at any one castle and been like, oh, I know that one. I fought that one like, 2 castles ago. They're all so unique. The layout's completely unique, and you never have the same battle twice. I guess that's something to add to that siege video when I do make it, because it's all well and good saying how you should siege something, but in general the castles, the towns are very unique. They have different ways to go about them, different ways to defend them as well. That comment was also talking about how to defend your castle when you are sieging, and that's a difficult question to answer because every single castle can be defended slightly differently. On the whole, you want to make sure you have a crap load of archers, because if you can kill the incoming troops before they even get up those ladders or over your walls, then it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for your infantry units to defend those walls. Now, we're rocking an army of 1,200 right now, which really isn't too bad. We are trying to recruit a few more. As you can see, I do have a little bit of room within my own personal troops, so I'm trying to fill that up, or at least do a good job. Now, I also know that it's about to get bigger. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but we are incredibly close to clan tier 5. That's a good little clan tier. It's obviously not the max, but we will get a party size increase from that, which I'm personally looking forward to. Now, we also need to build up our leadership a little bit more. We need to build up our stewardship a little bit more just to help increase that party size. But in order for that to happen, we need to level up. That's not happening anytime soon, because as we all know, the longer you play in this game, the slower it gets to level up, unfortunately. We really do have a crap load of troops. We got 1,300 troops, and we're going to be going up against 200. Now, we do have that first castle to give away to one of our lords, to one of our clans. I'm trying to find out exactly who has land already. Now, ideally, we want every single clan to have its own piece of land, which is why I chose who I chose, because he did not have any land, whereas the other two lords had land. Now, it did cost me extra influence. That did cost me quite a bit of influence, actually, to go over the heads of you know, the council. They wanted someone to have that castle. I personally wanted to give it to someone else, but the key to a good kingdom is to have a balanced kingdom, to have a happy kingdom. In other words, all the lords to be happy with their roles within your kingdom. For them to be happy, everyone needs to have their own castle. Not only do they have to have their own castle, but they have to not be poor. If they're poor, if they don't have land, there's a very good chance that they will deflect from your kingdom and join a rival nation. Now, that hasn't happened to me in this playthrough. That hasn't happened to me in any video I've done on the channel, but believe it or not, that can happen. I did actually have another person comment on the video saying that exact same thing. How do I stop my lords deflecting to another kingdom? The short answer is having a balanced and happy kingdom. Now, that's easier said than done. I have the luxury of having a lot of land. I have a lot of castles. I will typically go ahead and conquer the castles around the world until every single person, every single clan has their own piece of land. When they have their own piece of land, that's when I'll quite happily go ahead and conquer a town, because personally, I prefer to have the towns under my control. A couple of reasons for that. One, I'm rather greedy. Two, I like the income you get from them. Three, I feel like they're the most important pieces of land around the world. So if you own the towns, you have a lot of power there. You can recruit a lot of troops, make sure it is also garrisoned well, because of course, if you give that town to, you know, one of your trusted lords and he doesn't garrison that town properly, it's easy to either get taken or you're going to have to defend it loads. That's problematic. So I like to have the towns for myself. Another reason is I actually have a perk, which is for every single town I own, I get an extra 5 in my march size. And, you know, the bigger the march size, the better, really. So yeah, that's what I do. Make sure that I have all of the castles, give the castles to my nobles. Typically, when they've got land, they're pretty happy. Every now and again, checking the encyclopedia to see if your clans are happy or not, or rich or poor. If they are poor, you could always give them 20,000 dinars and that will change their fortunes. They'll be very happy after that. Stable, they're not going to leave. A lord knows a good thing when they see it, after all. Now, this was a very, very easy battle. I'm trying to make sure that I don't... trying to make sure I don't crash the game out by showing too many troops. We are coming in with 1,200 troops, after all. Having all them on the screen at once isn't very good for the console. Remember, I am playing on the console. Currently, the Xbox Series S. I really need to switch over. I've actually got the Xbox Series X now. And for whatever reason, I've been too lazy to switch. But there we go. We have won that. We got some renown, some influence, some morale, and of course that all important loot. Loot is something that I need to work on. Actually, I have a little bit of a money crisis. I don't have a huge amount of it. I have the ability to go ahead and get some more. But yeah, money is something that I need to work on. I have a crap ton of loot. We have been at war. We have been fighting for a damn long time. There's been quite a few episodes now. and I haven't offloaded all the loot that I've gotten. So at some stage, I do need to go ahead and go town to town selling all the gear that I've got. All of the weapons, of course, we're going to use that. We've already got plans for that. As you all know, we've done a lot of time when it comes to smithing. And we can earn a good amount of money through smithing. So that's something I do need to do. All the weapons we got, we are going to smelt down, of course, for more materials. So yeah, so I'm probably going to do this smithing off screen at some point, because I have already done 2 or 3 episodes within this playthrough of, you know, nothing but smithing. If I do go to do another episode of smithing, it's probably going to be something like pole arms, unlocking more parts, going town to town, getting as many pole arms as we can. The more we've got, the more we can break down. The more we break down, the more likelihood we're going to earn and unlock new parts. Now, from what I've seen so far in the game, and I put in a fair few amount of hours, pole arms, you actually make the most amount of money currently. I believe it's like 44,000 dinars I have made. Who doesn't have? There we go. That's another one that doesn't have a town, or doesn't have any property whatsoever. It wasn't a popular decision. Did cost me extra influence. But yeah, anyway, pole arms. What was I talking about? Pole arms, in my opinion, have the best recipe. Now, I did actually make a video a little while ago where I show you my best smithing recipe, which happens to be that polearm, which sold for about 44,000 dinars. It's a smithing guide, so for anyone that wants to see the exact recipe, have a look. But yeah, I do need to unlock some more parts in order to make that. For now, we're making a two-handed swords, and they sell for around 22,000 dinars, which is still a good amount considering we're not using any of the best steel in the game. So we have another castle that we're looking to take over right now. It is 1,200 versus the 340 defenders. And hopefully this is going to be another quick, easy win. I think quick, easy battles are good. I like to play with those overwhelming odds. As I always say, I don't like to go into a battle if I don't already know that I'm going to win. Sometimes games like this can really screw you over, whether you are, you know, close in numbers or not. So I like to make sure that I already know I can win before I actually pick a fight. And this is what I was talking about. Look at this castle. Now, this is yet another one that we are visiting. And this one looks absolutely nothing like the one we just visited. And I want to make sure I don't jump into that water accidentally. Not exactly sure what would happen. Maybe the game probably wouldn't let me jump in anyway. But it's kind of cool to see that boat there. I think the grounds just look really cool. I love this game. I think it's brilliant. If I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't have played anywhere near as much as I have. And we wouldn't be in the longest playthrough we have ever popped on the channel. Thank you for all your support, by the way, guys. It's really appreciated. We get a lot of returning viewers. We get a lot of likes. I would like more comments, but on the whole, you guys are supporting this absolutely brilliantly, and I'm really pleased to be able to continue this playthrough and share tips and tricks with this game. Now, I was hoping to pop this in. I think there's already a stone in there. And for whatever reason, they have stopped using the trebuchet because I have this on me now. It's kind of annoying. Come on, guys. Use the trebuchet. Seriously? You're just gonna... Yeah, well, I'll destroy my own trebuchet then. Well, that's a shame. I wanted to go. But yeah, thank you for all the support within the playthrough. Seriously appreciate it. We do also have that Discord. Now, the Discord is there for all gamers. But the Bannerlords chat that we have is almost never quiet. We have so many people in there that are able to help you or chat about your game, willing to chat about your game. I'm so looking forward to the update. I know I say it every single week, but it's an update that I just hope happens soon. We are now in, you know, almost the end of summer. I really hope that this update isn't going to be pushed down to the last quarter of the year. We have had no news whatsoever. I am actually on the following them on Twitter as well, but unfortunately, there has been zero news as to when or if we're going to get that big update, which PC already have. Just going to declare myself the victor. Considering I don't think we killed a single person, maybe one. I think we swung at somebody at least. But we have done another thing. We took another castle, which is rather good. And of course, every single castle that we take is a massive blow to the Western Empire that they cannot be happy. I am kind of wondering why we've managed to do as much damage as we have. I believe they must be fighting someone else in the world because they have a big empire. And I just wasn't expecting to be able to get away with doing everything that I have. Typically, when you fight one of the empires, they come at you with a ton of bloody troops. There's a lot of good lords, a lot of good clans within the empires, with extremely large march sizes. I would like to recruit 1 or 2 more clans. However, we don't have the money to do so at the moment, but it is something we're gonna be working on. Now, I think everyone has their own city, which means we can actually go with what people want, meaning it's not going to cost us any extra influence for a change. Now, I don't expect to be put up for these castles right now, especially as we're in a large army. And we're not actually putting in that effort in the army. We're kind of sitting back and organizing everything. Like right now, we got a battle, 1,200 units against 400. We have a 3-1 advantage. But I'm going to try and do a little bit more of the, you know, moving the troops around, being the generalized person. And because of that, that's going to affect the amount of loot that we get. Now, I believe there is a certain mechanic within that which affects how worthy you are of being nominated for a castle. Now, so many times I do get people saying, why aren't I up for the castle? I've, you know, conquered 5 or 6 castles. I'm never up for owning those castles. Why not? Now, we've talked about a balanced kingdom. That's going to get annoying because I'm going to keep saying it. Once everyone has their, you know, has their piece of land, it's going to be about influence, the amount of influence that you actually have passively. You know, you save up your influence, you use it for whatever it is that you want to use it for. You should start seeing your name up there pretty regularly after that. If, for instance, I was to take on a town, that's going to be one that's going to be heavily defended. I'm going to be actively taking part in that, killing, you know, 10, 20 people, hopefully more. And because of that, because everyone's got their own town, because everyone's going to be, you know, not poor, I would be extremely surprised if my name wasn't up there on that list for getting that ownership. Now, I'm just trying to move my cavalry around I'm trying to get the jump on these guys or spread them out a little bit. Now I do have my my troops moving into position, which is kind of cool. I'm just trying to get my cavalry to also kind of pull theirs to one side at least. I feel like I need to get more spearmen. Something I haven't really experimented with too much in this game is spearmen. Good defense against the cavalry, of course. As soon as I see them moving, there we go. There we go. Now I need to get my troops to charge as well. Get the big bad boy sword out. Now, as much as I want to get stuck into these battles, and I have done in the past, one thing I would say is more important than you getting kills, because you getting kills does affect the battle actually quite a lot, because it increases the morale boost you give your troops. So you getting kills is actually a really, really good thing. But what works even better than you getting those kills is you not dying. If you die in battle, get knocked out in battle, you know, whatever it is, that's a huge like nerf to the morale of your troops. And if that morale drops too low, your troops will flee. So important if you're outnumbered as well is morale. Morale is probably the most important when you're outnumbered, but it's something to keep an eye on anyway, because it can be something really easy to forget. Oh, that is a lot of red there. Not good. Try and get a few more swings in. I actually need to make myself a two-handed sword, drop the shield completely, and just run off that two-handed sword. I feel like something I might do is go to a two-handed sword, drop the shield, and go for 2 quivers of arrows. Give myself a decent amount of arrows. It means I can actually take out a damn load if I happen to be defending. But that shield is also very, very useful at times. To be fair, going around and trying to get slightly better armor, point here, point there, it's going to be very costly, but it's also going to be very, very useful as well, especially if I do end up dropping my shield. If I drop my shield, just go for two-handed weapons, getting those extra points in armor could really make the difference when it comes to how much damage I receive and take. But at the moment, I don't have that spare cash. I think I'm just over 1 million, just under 1 million, something like that. But it's very, very low. I absolutely need to sort that out. I think we're currently given 5,000 a day to Valandia, which isn't good. I believe we're also given like 2,000 to Prytania. So both of those kingdoms need to be taken out. I need to swap that, make that the other way. But that's what you get for, you know, instantly asking for peace without any battles being fought, you know. But of course, when you very first start out, you've got very little options. You have to pay for the privilege of calling yourself a king sometimes. But I think our kingdom's finally starting to get there. It's finally starting to shape up. And this looks like another battle one. No, it wasn't the prettiest one. I think we lost it probably wasn't as quick and easy as it should have been, considering we outnumbered them 3-1. But hey, a win's a win, a score's a score. And they are 400 less troops, which works out well for me. But thank you for joining me for yet another episode in Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlords, guys. I've been a monk, we've been in Critically Curious, and I will see you in the next episode real soon, where we will be hoping to squish this war once and for all. Until next time, take it easy and happy gaming.